Hi, baby.
Okay, I don't really care about that. Jughead almost got murdered, so I just think that that's more important.
Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I really hope the noise of the fans isn't too much. It's slightly cooled down, but it's still pretty hot where I live, so we have to deal with fans. That's just the way it is. So I took a week off last week from filming. I did film a couple of clips that you would have already seen, but I mostly just took time to myself, really didn't do a ton. And I think that was like for the best. I really didn't mean to, and the week was incredibly busy and exhausting itself, even aside from like mental health stuff. I had a huge, if you don't know, I work for a nonprofit. A lot of our work is done through volunteers, and we had a huge group of volunteers do like a blitz of work for like a week in one of the local neighborhoods, and it was great. They got a lot done, but it was just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of people, a lot of prep, a lot of takedown that we're still doing. So it was exhausting, and by the time I got home, I just really didn't want to do much. Like, I came home and I would watch YouTube videos. I did a little bit of reading, but otherwise it was just exhausting, and like, I'm glad that I didn't push myself to do more, but yeah, really what I've been doing is playing a lot of video games. I recently discovered that Disney Dreamlight Valley came out with a new update and a new DLC that I didn't know about, and so that was like my entire weekend. I just got the DLC and just like spent the entire weekend playing that, and it was really nice. I have been feeling very vulnerable, and I've been trying to avoid autistic burnout. So I've been trying to take it easy, trying to rest, trying to do the things that will give me my joy, my energy, all of that back. And so that's kind of what I've been focusing on. But I feel better. I feel very grounded, and I feel very excited to be here with you guys. So I am ready to tackle the week. It is, again, going to be very focused on hobbies and slow coziness, because I haven't completely tackled the scaries, but we're gonna try, I think. But I want to do like a very chill, very relaxed reading challenge, but I just haven't been reading like I want to, and it's kind of been hurting my little meow. So I need to get back on that. So I think I'm gonna challenge myself in some way. I don't know what that looks like. The lighting is really going out. I don't know what that looks like, but we're going to figure it out. It's obviously going to be very low stress. If I don't complete the challenge, then I'm not going to like beat myself up for it, and just like making sure that I am giving time to my hobbies and refilling my spoons. So, I did want to mention something really quick. I am kind of expanding my content a little bit. I started streaming. I took a break from streaming because like I was just really not doing well, and I couldn't commit myself to that, but that's still happening. Like, I still plan to go back to streaming, and I also am going to start making videos about my favorite pieces of media and pop culture and stuff like that. So next Wednesday you can expect a video that I filmed last year that was a recap of the original Scream trilogy. If you are a new subscriber, if you have not been around here for a long time, I'm a huge horror fan. I used to have a horror podcast, and Scream is one of my favorite franchises of all time. And I really wanted to get into the, like, Jenny Nicholson, Mike's Mike sort of avenue of content, because I think it's so fascinating, and I like just talking about the things that I love. So I'm going to be releasing those monthly. I'll be doing the Scream 3, the trilogy, and then the fourth one, because they're all in the same, like, storyline. And then I'm going to do the remainder of the movies separate as their own thing, because they're, like, new characters, all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking of doing, like, Halloween and all of those kinds of franchises. I want to do a video about, like, the final girl and, like, the history of the final girl and that trope. And I have some ideas of things that I would like to do, and I'm not going to stop doing vlogs. This is going to be like a monthly thing, kind of like with my streaming, where, like, it's not going to affect this content in any way. If anything, it's like an addition to this. So, like, the streams are an addition and this is an addition. So you can still expect, like, weekly vlogs and then just little pops of extra stuff here and there. I thought about making a second channel. I thought about doing, like, a Patreon or something like that, but I want this to be a hub of all of my interests. I don't want it to just be cozy vlog situations, because if I'm going to put myself in a box, then I might as well go back to book content. Like, that's why I stopped doing book content, because I felt like I'm so creative and I like other things, and there's so many parts and facets of my life, and I have so many special interests, that just making content about books doesn't fulfill me. And that's kind of the same here, of, like, I really leaned into more lifestyle, more vloggy content, but that's not, like, all of my interests. It doesn't accompany everything, so it's gonna be like an addition to thing. I really hope you guys are along for the ride. If you just like my vlogs, I completely understand, like, nothing's changing with that, and I hope that you guys give my other stuff a shot. But if you, like, are not into that, then I completely understand. But yeah, I thought I would just talk about it because I'm very excited and I'm going to start planning and stuff soon. So yeah, big stuff coming, very exciting stuff coming, in addition to these vlogs. So very happy to be back, very happy to be talking to you guys and making content and stuff. It's like, just feeds my creative soul in a way that nothing else does. So yeah, that's it. Let's actually start the vlog now.
Blue dude, blue moon, kinda mysterious, shaded with someone I'm not really into. Do you need to fix it?
So I am currently reading way more things than I really need to be reading. I actually just started and got 22 pages into House of Flame and Shadow. I'm just gonna call it Crescent City because I am not enough into this fandom that I have the name memorized. I have been wanting to read it for a while, but my stepsister is actually reading all of Sarah J. Maas's books, and I was rereading them with her, and then she was getting to Crescent City for the first time, and so I reread those, and then I obviously haven't read the third book myself yet, and so I was waiting patiently to get to the third one. I have not heard any spoilers, shockingly, and I'm very happy for that. I have heard that this isn't like everybody's favorite. In general, people don't seem to like the Crescent City series. It seems like a lot of people think it's like her worst series, which I disagree with. Objectively, I can see it being her worst series. I get it, but I disagree. I find a lot of comfort in the series. Depending on how the third one goes, it's like ACOTAR, Crescent City, depending on what mood I'm in, they're first or second, and then third, like way down here, is Throne of Glass. But I am 22 pages in. I'm liking it so far. I am interested to see where a certain storyline goes, but I don't think that it does very well in this series just based on the reviews and things, so we'll see how I like it. I'm also reading the second book in the Court of Blood and Bindings series. I read the first one sometime last year and I wanted to continue the series, but I don't remember a single dang thing. I didn't remember a single dang thing about the first one, and so I reread the first one. Very glad that I did, because I didn't remember anything. To go. Hey, I was calling because our hot water heater is leaking, but I got it figured out. Okay, so, what was I saying? I decided to reread the first one. Very, very glad that I did. This is a fae fantasy romance about a girl who gets kidnapped by the, like, death incarnate or something like that. He's like the assassin for the fae mother, and he takes her from her city after he destroys it, and she goes back to like the fae world or whatever. And then they find out some secrets, they're doing some stuff. I'm on the second one. I'm like 22. I'm not very far in, 18% of the way through, and this is, I think, a 4 or 5 book series. I am liking it. It's definitely like an intro to fantasy romance, I think. First one's kind of a slower burn, and it's not like super overly complicated. I don't know, depending on how I like this one, if I'll finish out the rest of the series. I like this author's writing, but it's not like crazy good, it's not crazy bad. I like it. I gave the first one 4 stars, and I'm liking this one okay so far. The male main character is being kind of a little bitch, but you know, it is what it is. Hopefully that resolves in like the next 20 pages. We'll see if that actually happens. This is going to be what I focus on because my stepsister is like roaring to go and she's like reading it really fast, so I want to like keep track with her, and also I'm just pretty excited about the book. The series itself is an urban fantasy. It's about a girl named Bryce and her best friend gets murdered. That's not a spoiler, it's literally in the synopsis, but it's like 100 pages into the first one. And she goes into like a deep depression, but she is suspected of having an involvement in the kill. And so in this city, it's like run by a bunch of different like magical creatures exist in it. So like angels, reapers, fae, all that kind of stuff. But their overall city is policed and governed by angels, and the lead angel guy charges one of his angels, Hunt, who is the male main character, to investigate the deaths with Bryce. And they like move in together and they have like a little will they won't they moment, and then obviously the plot goes from there. It's like urban fantasy, murder mystery situation. I have my own set of complaints, and I certainly didn't love the series when I first read it, but upon reread, I enjoy it. Her last 100 pages are always just like super strong. So I think as far as the reading challenge that I'm gonna do, I think I want to do a spinner wheel and put between 50 and 200 pages on the spinner wheel and spin the wheel every day to determine how many pages I want to read for the day, for the week. It is Monday, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. So here's our little wheel. Let's see what we get. $150? That seems very unlikely. Very unlikely. But we can try, because I flew through those 22 pages and I do still have like an hour before he gets home, and then I usually have about an hour before bedtime to read, and then if I'm not tired then I can read some more, like my Kindle. So I'm gonna get started. I do have to put my groceries away. My groceries are on their way and they should be here relatively soon. So I'm gonna do that quick and in a hurry, and then we're gonna get back to reading, I think.
Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you?
Happy Tuesday, friends. I am working from home today because I needed a day. The lighting looks crazy, but I thought we could talk about what I read yesterday and do a spinner wheel. So I didn't get the 150 pages in. Are we shocked? I got 83 pages in, and then I read like 1 page of Lord of Golden Glory. I am now 91 pages in. I was so sleepy. I wanted to stay up and read, but I just couldn't. But I'm 83 pages in, and this is giving me like all of the good feelings about a new Sarah J Maas book, and I'm so excited. I really like this series, but I didn't get those like giddy good feelings originally. The first time I read either the first one or the second one, like I was excited, but reading it like kind of killed it a little bit for me. Like I spoke about previously, I didn't appreciate this series until I reread it. But this first read of this one, like I'm just enjoying it. I'm loving the points of view that we're getting, and I'm so excited to see how this series wraps up, and it's just like making me that much more excited for the next ACOTAR book. So definitely loving it, definitely going to read more of this today, if not exclusively this today. I do have some work that I need to do, and I also need to do some video planning, but other than that, like I need to make a run to Home Depot, but I'm good otherwise. Like I have the whole day to myself. So let's go ahead and do the spinner wheel. We got 100 pages. Yay! I can definitely do 100 pages. Like that's incredibly doable today. I couldn't do 150 yesterday because I got 83 pages in with no time reading yesterday. So it's definitely doable, definitely excited. I am just like not feeling great, so I'm gonna kind of try to relax and feel better. But yeah, so we're gonna read and we're gonna chill. So we'll talk.
Not blue. Blue too. Bad mood. Sort of witty and jaded, but let's not talk about your coyote song. Singing all night long. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue. Been 1 or 2 since I ran into you. Do you need a picture? Well, that gets old.
dying in the place of someone I love. Seems like a good way to go. And that's probably a good thing. Anyways.
Fragile space in a single sail. White rocky island, you and I on the trail. Just us and the waves. No need to behave in the harbor of healing.
Happy Wednesday night, friends. I actually have off for the rest of the week, so I'm looking forward to doing a ton of reading. My partner and I started watching The Mole on Netflix, which, if you are a fan of The Challenge and also The Traitors on Peacock, I would recommend this show. It's incredible. It's so good. It's basically about a group of people who are working towards adding money to a prize pot, and then at the very end, whoever wins gets the money. But there is someone that is the mole amongst them who is trying to make it to the end with them having as little money as possible and them not guessing who the mole is. So there's tons of different strategies that the mole could have. You as the viewer don't know who the mole is, and so you're having to question everybody and like try to understand what the mole would do in a situation, but there's just so many different avenues that someone could take, and it's really good. The challenges are hard and they make you think. Very different. They're not like super repetitive. In one of them, they're like trying to solve a riddle. In one, they're trying to scale a mountain. Like very, very well done. I don't know if there's more than 2 seasons. We started with the first one, obviously, and exceptional. Very good. I'm very excited to continue on, and hopefully there's more seasons after these 2 because exceptional show. But I did manage to do my 100 pages yesterday for the reading challenge. I got 180 pages into the 3rd Crescent City book. I am not reading it at the moment because my stepsister needs to catch up, but I'm really liking it. I think it's good. There are some points of view that I wish would get to the point a little bit faster. I'm a little bit put off that we have gotten 180 pages in and they're only up to the point that they're at, but overall I'm enjoying the 3rd book. Again, I haven't read many reviews for this. I just know general opinions. So I don't know at what point people started disliking the book, but it's 830 pages, so I'm only 180 pages in, so we have plenty of room to go, plenty of pages to go. And then I also have been doing a little bit of reading in The Lord of Golden Glory. I am now 142 pages in. I'm not super loving this story. I don't like how boring it is. It's very much all taking place in the same spot, and it's repetitive conversations, and there are relationship things that are very repetitive, and there's a certain plot line that is going on with one of the characters' powers that I don't really like, and it just feels the first one is set in one place, but it was different because you had the tension of the relationship and also the tension of the main character being in this new place and discovering her powers and all of that. And so you didn't notice quite as much that nothing is really happening as far as plot. But this, I can feel it. She is working with a certain group of people, and working on her relationship with the hero, but nothing is happening. We're seeing no advancements with her power. We have pretty much no tension aside from this, again, one storyline that I'm really not liking, but I'm only 29% of the way through, so I could start enjoying it, but at the moment it's not like super gripping. I'm not loving it. But I'm probably going to be reading these two things for the rest of the week, for the remainder of this reading challenge. It is pretty late at night, so I'm not going to like do a spinner wheel, but I probably will end up reading about 120 pages before the end of the day. But aside from having to repair our water heater and doing some side business stuff, I don't really have a lot going on for the rest of the week. My mom is coming over on Friday, but this weekend my partner is working, and so I have the whole weekend to read. And that's kind of what I'm going to be focusing on. That's like the hobby that I'm going to be focusing on, I think. I did some video planning. I have some stuff to do for videos this weekend, but mostly we're going to be reading, because that's kind of like, you're not really going to be along for the ride for that. So I'm going to spend the rest of the night probably reading. So we're going to get comfy, read some, and then wake up tomorrow and read some more.
Pine straw with tangerine tears, t-shirts laid out like our grief throughout the years. We say it all with bait on our lines. We rise and we fall.
If you hear fan noises, I'm terribly sorry. It's just too hot to not have 3 fans going at one time. It is Friday, and yesterday I read like 470 pages. I DNF'd Lord of Golden Glory. I got a little bit further in. I think I included a clip of maybe where I stopped. No. If I were to finish that book, I would have given it 2 stars, and I'm not here for 2 stars when I could just DNF, you know? So I decided to DNF, and then I had a YA fantasy come through for my library. It's called These Broken Vows or something like that. This was quite popular a while ago, and I decided to give it a shot. The description claims that it's for fans of ACOTAR, which everybody fucking uses, and The Cruel Prince. I actually do sort of agree with those. I have said many times on my channel that I don't like comparing books to other popular books, because I think it clouds people's judgment as far as the book itself. But this does have very similar feeling. The writing is very similar to a Sarah J. Maas book. And you are dealing with like fairies and fae realms and stuff like that. So basically we open the story with the heroine, Rune? No, that's the other book I'm reading. I don't remember what her name is. But she is stealing and just trying to get by to make a life for her sister and her. They were originally from Fairy, and their mother left them with their father's uncle, or father's brother. The father's brother dies and leaves them with the wicked step-aunt, who has like the wicked stepsisters and all that kind of stuff. And so they are indebted to her. They sign a contract with her that puts them like in debt for a ton of money, and every time they miss a payment every month, they are even more in debt. So she is stealing money from wealthy men of business, if you will. They hear about a ball that's happening in Fairy between the Seelie, for the Seelie prince to find a human bride. They can't reproduce, so they reproduce with humans. And her sister is really into it, really wants to go. Her best friend Sebastian, who she has a crush on, doesn't want them to go, kind of warns against them. after her sister gets sold to the Unseelie King by her aunt, she then has to make her way into Fairy. She ends up having to make a deal with the Unseelie King to get her sister back, and she has to create a romantic relationship with the Seelie Prince, who's looking for a wife, to find these artifacts that were stolen from the Unseelie court. And then we also have a band of rebels who are part of the Unseelie court, but they're like the princes. They want the prince. The prince is the rightful heir to the throne, but his uncle, who's the Unseelie King, took the throne from him, and so she's working with the Unseelie King, but she's also working with this band of rebels. I read the entire thing in one day. It's almost 500 pages. I flew through it. I mean, I ate the shit up. It was so readable, so accessible, so fun and fast-paced. I mean, bam, bam, bam. Like, something was always happening. It's very stereotypical fantasy romance. The twists and everything. There's a love triangle that's kind of bleh, but I, like, flew through it. I think if you're in a reading slump, this is a great book. If you like fantasy romance, you don't mind reading YA, and you are in a reading slump, I would recommend picking this up. It's so, so fun. The writing is almost like the equivalent of a Sarah J. Maas book, and I say that because a lot of the Sarah J. Maas isms, the quotes and sayings and writing still, like the stylistic choices that she makes, kind of get copied here. So if you enjoy her writing and you're looking for something to like maybe get you out of a reading slump, I would recommend picking this up. I did end up giving it 3 stars, and I don't necessarily know if it'll be the most memorable thing, and I don't know if I'm gonna continue the series, but it like hit the spot. I sat down and read and didn't want to stop. I stayed up until like 1 a.m. finishing the book, and it was so good. It also could have been the fact that I started my period. I was having like very intense cramps, and I was just like curled up in this chair and like with my heating pad, and was just not doing anything. So that could have been part of it. It was just like the story that I needed, but I liked it a ton. So that's pretty much like more than I have read in one day in a long time. So I'm very proud of myself, and I just loved it so much. So I'm glad that I like allowed myself to do that. My mother is on her way. She should be here in like 30 minutes to an hour. And then she'll be here. She just is doing her laundry. She doesn't have laundry in her building, so she's doing her laundry. And then after that, I am probably going to try to plan some videos. I have some stuff that I need to start getting on if I want it to come out this month. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing once she leaves. But while she's here, I'm going to be reading. And what I'm currently reading is The Crimson Moth, I think is what it's called. I have heard The Heartless Hunter, which is the first book in the Crimson Moth series. I have heard things about this. I will say I'm not really like on the book internet. I don't watch too many book creators. I don't have TikTok. I don't have Instagram or anything like that. Like, I have an Instagram account, but I don't ever use it, just for like my own well-being. So I don't know when books are getting popular unless they've made it into like mainstream, but I know that this book is like popular. It's on Kindle Unlimited. I picked it up. I am 25 pages in, and all I know is this is like an adult Serpent and Dove, which I like. I know that a lot of people had issues with book 1, and then the people that liked book 1 didn't like the continuation of the series, but I think the second book and the third book are like fan-fucking-tastic. I really, really liked them. So I know it's about a witch and a witch hunter. I don't think they have like an arranged marriage, but I'm interested to see how it's going to go. I'm not hating it so far. The writing is fine. I do know that the heroine is like a witch, and she is saving witches who are going to be killed, but she pretends to be like a socialite ditzy girl to escape captivity, which I think is just so fun. That's that. That's probably what I'm going to be doing today, what I'm going to be reading today. There is a Lorcana tournament going on, so I'm probably going to be watching that, but that's that. I'm loving reading. Like, I'm loving just reading and doing nothing else. It's like just so healing. Happy Saturday, friends. It is afternoon time. I've had lunch. I streamed for a little bit. I got one of the videos that are coming out this month filmed, so I've had a really good day. I don't have too many updates as far as reading. I obviously didn't do a spinner wheel. You guys didn't see it, so yesterday was just busy. I was doing other things and I did some reading at night. I read a little smidge of The Serpent and Dove, whatever it's called, Crimson Moth or whatever. Not very far in, don't have too many grand thoughts. And then today, obviously, I was up early filming, editing, streaming, all of that kind of stuff. So I think for the rest of the day, I am going to work on YouTube stuff. Probably not do much else, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the vlog here and we'll talk next week. I know that it was a little bit more like bookish than usual. Past couple of vlogs have been bookish just because of like my own mental stuff, and like books are like my special interest, so talking about them is like nice and stress relieving. So I hope you guys enjoyed the vlog nonetheless. I would love to talk down in the comments about how your week went. If you enjoyed the vlog, I would love to know. Don't forget to subscribe if you like videos like this, or you're interested in like pop culture, streaming, gaming, all that kind of stuff. Kind of a bunch of stuff going on over here, but I hope you guys will stick around. My socials are linked down below if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next one.